One day, I was getting the backstory of one of my friends. Like, we were talking, and he was telling me about his past and how he wanted to try and get girls, right? And during this journey, this pursuit of getting girls, he started talking to so many more, became more confident. He started trying to talk to more and more women. He actually realized, he looked down, and his man parts were gone, and he started turning into a woman. And he was like, what, why am I a woman? I'm not trying to be a lesbian. What's going on here? And I thought about this for a moment. Yeah, why are you becoming a woman by talking to women? Do women have like some disease that turns you into a woman? And it's kind of like that. I'm going to explain why this happened, because I'm guessing you don't want to turn into a girl as well. Hopefully you don't want to become trans. I'm going to get you to escape the fate of trying to get girls and then turning into one, because it's quite treacherous. And I'm going to explain what my friend did wrong, because right now he's not a girl anymore. Fortunately, he's been saved. He grew his man parts back, 4 inches. Everything is great now. but hearing his story, it was pretty interesting. Basically, he did the same thing that men with a lot of sisters do, where they live and talk to and only interact with females, and because of that they have no men around them. So imagine you have like 4 or 5 sisters, and you're living with them every day. It's like summer holidays. You aren't going out much, you aren't really doing anything, you're just living with your sisters, and that's basically your entire social group. Because of that, you start acting like them, right? You act like the people around you. Maybe you've heard the quote. I think it's, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And because you spend the most time with these women, you start becoming like them. My friend basically did this exact same thing. So how do you avoid that? Because if you want to get girls, you need to obviously spend time around them. But you also don't want to become a girl yourself, because of course you really like having, I don't know how big it is, but certainly not as big as mine. You probably enjoy having your man parts, obviously. And to do that, you just have to make male friends. If you don't have male friends who you consistently spend time with, you'll start becoming like a girl. There's no other way around this. You need to make friends, male friends, before you start trying to attract girls and talk to them, because without doing that, you'll just start becoming one of them, and you'll become less attractive to them, because of course most girls aren't attracted to other girls, and because of that you ruin your chances anyways. So by spending time around other men, you become more like a man, girls like you more. And also, this is more of a less talked about topic, but by having friends, you're less lonely, right? You have people who you can spend time with and enjoy the company with without being alone all the time. So you stop being needy. Like, imagine you have a girlfriend and you're constantly asking her to hang out, and you're spending all your time with her because you have no one else to spend time with. It's kind of repulsive in a way, because you're spending all your time with this one person, and they kind of get used to you, because for whatever reason, when we have something for a long time, we take it for granted. Just like how you live in your house every day, so you don't really think much about it, but in reality, like crazy, you have this entire building around you that prevents you from facing weather conditions, but you don't even think about that. It's the same with the people you spend time with. If you constantly spend time with this girl, she'll start taking you for granted, because you constantly need her and you're constantly wanting to spend time with her. And if you don't, then you're basically alone. If you have male friends, you don't need to struggle with that. You won't be lonely, because you can spend time with them and do fun stuff with them. So you need to make male friends. And to do that, you can use the friendship formula. I'm not going to go into depth with this. This is basically like a formula I came up with that immediately allows you to make friends. Sorry, I'm looking at the formula right now because I wrote it down. But this formula basically allows you to make friends in the easiest, most effective way, because most people, even if they become confident or they just try and start talking to other people, they won't actually make friends at all, just because they don't understand the components of friendship. So I'm going to explain to you how to make friends very briefly. If you want to actually use the formula, then check out the video, give me more like views per video. That'll also help me. But yeah, I'll explain the formula briefly. So there are 6 components of the formula: frequency, connection, enjoyment, context diversity times time. Also, sorry if you've already watched the previous video and you're watching this video and you already know it, because it might be a bit redundant, but I'm going to still just explain it briefly. So with frequency, it's basically how much you spend time with them. So not how long you spend time with them, how much. How many days a week do you spend time with this person? Do you see them 5 days a week, 7 days a week? Do you see them like once a month? Because this is a huge component. If you don't have even one of these, a friendship can't be formed. So if you only spend time with them like once a month, the frequency is so low that even if you max out everything else, it'll be very, very difficult to have a friendship. And of course, if you never see them, it's impossible. So the more frequency you have, the better it is. It would be better if you sacrifice time, which is basically how much time you spend with them, for frequency. It's better to spend 30 minutes a day with them than to spend 10 hours a week with them, even though 10 hours in total is longer than 30 minutes a day, right? Because you're seeing them more frequently. I don't know how this works in the brain. There's probably some biological reason for it. You can search that up. Basically, all you need to know is if you're meeting someone new, invite them out to do something with you, and keep inviting them out consistently to get this frequency up and to see them more days of the week. Again, if you see them once a month, but you spend a lot of time with them, you'll have less results than if you see them every day, but you spend less time with them. Connection. This is basically how much you can connect with this person. Do you have similar interests? Do you kind of have similar hobbies and you have the same goals and aspirations? And if you do, you naturally connect with them more. But it's also worth trying to open up about yourself first. So if you open up about something more intimate about you, maybe you tell them that about the time where your dog died. A few years ago, your dog died. It really hurt you mentally. If you tell them about that, you wouldn't tell that to a complete stranger, but once you get to know each other more, if you tell them about that, they'll kind of think, whoa, this guy, he's telling me something about his life that only I know. Like, most strangers wouldn't know this about him. And because of that, they'll feel kind of this level of reciprocation where they'll want to tell you something more personal about them. And before you know it, you start knowing more about each other in this in-depth level of connection, basically. There's enjoyment. This is obviously simple. How much do you enjoy each other's company? You'll enjoy each other's company more if you have similar interests and hobbies and stuff like that. You enjoy talking to each other. And finally, context diversity to the power of 2, because it's so important. Context diversity might be the most important. Nah, not the most, because of course if you never see them, it doesn't work. But basically, see them in different environments. So let's say you see this person in school or your workplace, and you only ever see them there, and you max out everything else. That person will only ever remain a work colleague, or that person will only ever remain a classmate. And You know, I'm sorry if I'm talking a little bit too fast, actually. I'm going to slow down a bit. So, with context diversity, the aim is to have this person be seen in different contexts. So, instead of only seeing them in school, you invite them out, of course, to increase frequency, but you also invite them out to different places. You invite them out to coffee at a cafe. You invite them to your house, and you maybe like have a game night or something. You invite them to like go on a walk with you outside, maybe a park. And because you see them in all these different environments, you kind of unlock more of their character. You see them in different places, and because of that, your brain just, for whatever reason, makes them seem a lot closer than they normally would be if you hadn't. So this is extremely important. Invite them out to do different things. And as you do this, as your friendship gets stronger and stronger, you can kind of you can tone down on this. So if you've been friends for like a year, obviously your friendship is going to be stronger. And because of that, you don't need to put in so much time. You don't need to see this person every day for like 30 minutes or the friendship will die, because you guys have already been friends for a year. So the flame of friendship and the vitality of it is already super high. So it's not going to die if you don't see each other for a day. But if this guy is some new person you've never met before, then if you kind of ignore them and you don't give them like you don't put fuel in the fire, the friendship fire, for a few days, it might just completely disappear and you have to start over from square one. This is how to make a friend. Start talking to other guys, use this formula, make friends, and then once you do that, you can start talking to girls, and it'll become so much easier to attract them, because now you aren't lonely and you aren't needy. And the secret is, if you're hanging around with other guys, you'll also become more confident, because of course you'll have other guys pushing you to talk to the girl, so you'll talk to more as well. So it's better in general. Hope this video helped. If you want to become more confident, check out the top link in the description and subscribe, like the video, and remember, consistency is over a lifetime. Bye bye.